Hello there. In this last of the 5 videos, we are at last getting to the interesting part. By now, you'll know a little bit about VHF and also how to operate the radio sets that we use here at the Sailing Club. So we're ready to move on and learn how to call and reply and the language that we use. First, close your eyes and imagine you're in a dark room with other people, but of course you can't see anyone. Everyone is talking very quietly. Your name is Dan and you are looking for Julie. You might loudly call out, "Hello everyone, I'm looking for Julie. I'm Dan, by the way." Someone pipes up, "Hello Dan, I'm Julie." "Hello Julie, would you like to come to the pub with me tonight?" Oops, I've just realized everyone can hear me. How embarrassing. Remember, VHF is a public broadcast. Anyhow, back to using VHFs then. How do we call another boat? Well, like Dan and Julie have names, so each boat has a name or call sign. Ours are Blue Rib, Red Rib, Avon, Champ, and Challenger Rib. And of course there's the beach. Calling another boat goes a bit like this. You press the transmit button and wait briefly, then say their call sign up to 3 times, followed by "this is," and then your call sign up to 3 times, and then "over," and then you release the transmit button. There are 5 key or procedure words which we use at the club. I've just used 2. "This is," which you say before your own call sign. "Over," once you've finished speaking and release the transmit button so the other person can reply. Instead of yes, we say affirmative. Instead of no, we say negative. And that's because yes and no are really quite short and can get lost or worse, mixed up. And then once you've finished your conversation, you simply say out, which finishes your transmission. Note, we never say over and out, as over implies you're expecting a reply, and conversely out implies that you don't. There are quite a lot of other pro words, but these are the important ones. There's a link on the web page to the others. Very occasionally we need to spell something out, and for that we would use the phonetic alphabet, which again you'll find on the web page, but it's beyond the scope of these sessions, but it is worth learning. So once we've established contact, each transmission starts with their call sign, followed by your call sign, and then the message, and finally over. Frequently, however, when we're talking, the call signs get dropped and it becomes more of a to and fro conversation. Always saying over to let the other person know that they can now speak. It's important to keep messages brief. While you are transmitting, the channel is blocked and no one else can speak. And also, while your transmit button is pressed, your speaker is muted, so you can't hear any other transmission. Let's look at a practical example. I'm on the Red Rib. I press transmit, wait briefly, and then say, "Blue Rib, Blue Rib, Blue Rib. This is Red Rib, over." And then on the Blue Rib, they might reply, they press transmit, wait briefly, and then say, "Red Rib, Red Rib, Red Rib. This is Blue Rib, over." And a message from the Red Rib might be, "Blue Rib, Red Rib, there's a capsize behind you. Please could you attend? Over." And you get back, "Red Rib, Blue Rib, on our way, out." So you can see everything's very brief. Do I have to repeat the call sign 3 times? I think the formal answer to that is yes, but at club level, probably not, as in the example I've just given. But do consider the circumstances. You can try Blue Rib, this is Red Rib, over. If that works, great. If not, try using the call signs 3 times. It's a judgment call, really. Let's look at a real example. Perhaps you need to call up the beach. The person on the beach has been standing around for a while, listening to the radio babble going on between boats. They might be a bit switched off, or distracted, perhaps in conversation with someone else. In that case, 3 times might be better, as it's more likely to break through their brain fog. So it might be beach, beach, beach. This is red rib, red rib, red rib, over. Red rib, this is beach, over, is what you might get back, because we can now hear each other and we're all both switched on to the conversation. They might then come up with beach, red rib, I'm towing this topper into shore. Could you make sure there's a parent waiting to catch them? Thanks, over. Red rib, beach, will do, out. Again, fairly short, and you can see certainly not daunting. Okay, finally a few practical tips. Press and hold the transmit button briefly before you start to speak. If you don't, the first word will almost certainly be lost. Listen before the start of a conversation to check that nobody else is already talking. Always use low power unless the message isn't being received clearly, though in a rib, often standing up can make all the difference, as that can add about half a mile to the range. Standing may also be needed if you're in a heavy swell, because the boat will be going up and down, and again, that'll help with the range. The other advantage of low power is the battery will last longer. Hold the set at an angle so you aren't speaking directly at the microphone. Don't shout, just speak slowly and clearly, and if it's windy, try and put your back into the wind and maybe shelter the radio inside your collar. The radio microphones are sensitive to wind and your transmission may just come across as mush. Please keep messages brief. I said earlier that while your transmit button is pressed, no one else can speak. It's very important that when you're using the radio set, the transmit button doesn't get accidentally pressed, as that will prevent anybody else communicating. So avoid jamming the radio into, say, a pocket or letting anything rest on it. The ribs all have a special holder where the radio set should go when you're just listening out. Please don't change any of the settings, like turning on beeps, etc. If you must, can you please change it back before returning the set? And finally, but very important, please ensure the radio set is washed in fresh water and towel dried before putting it back onto the charging cradle. I hope you found these sessions useful and that they will allow you to use the radios with confidence and without any need to worry about getting it wrong. And finally, here's the address of the web page I mentioned earlier. Note that VHF is in capitals. There's no link to this page and you can't Google it. It's just the club's website address with /VHF. I hope I'll see you out on the water sometime. Thanks for listening and goodbye.